The Chiropractic Philanthropist, episode 253.
I think it's imperative for our listeners, for your listeners, to understand, just like Big Pharma has an agenda and their marketing and their billions of dollars that they pour into their marketing, financial institutions have the same marketing budget, if not more, and they utilize it to meet their agenda.
Starting your own practice is hard for many chiropractors. It's riddled with both struggles and successes. But here at the Chiropractic Philanthropist, we make it easy by having chiropreneurs and entrepreneurs share their struggles and lessons learned in life and business so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. And now here's your host, Dr. Ed Osborne.
My guest today on the Chiropractic Philanthropist is Michael Isom. He is the founder and creator of Optic Financial. Michael lives by a code: to be real, raw, relevant, and ruthlessly committed to results. He lives proving that it is possible to have it all in all areas of his life. He knows that money is not the primary reason nor the excuse for doing or not doing something in his life. And he's dedicated to empowering his clients with the same mindset and actions. Michael is an author, speaker, and influencer in the financial services industry, specializing in empowering clients to wake up to the reality of their money life. Now, in this episode, Michael has a special offer, and I want to make sure that everyone gets the opportunity to take advantage of this offer. This is a free download of his book, which is currently selling for $1,000 on Amazon, and it is the book called What Would the Rockefellers Do? And this is co-authored with Garrett B. Gunderson. So to get your free download, Doc, actually text 801-396-7211. And the passcode you need to enter is FREEWWRD. All one word. FREEWWRD is the code. Michael, how you doing today?
Really well, Ed. Thank you.
I'm incredibly excited to have you on TCP Podcast today because, this is an incredible conversation because there's a couple things I love talking about. One of them is about helping chiropractors grow and build their businesses, but the other is actually talking about money. So yeah. I know it's a very valuable conversation. Before we actually start, for those who don't know you, could you share a little bit about who you are, but also, what brought you to become the author that you are today, and also the person that's actually building their business around helping other people understand money?
Whew. Yeah, that's a big question, Ed. Okay. Yeah, I am a man, Ed, today that loves his life. 5 years ago, I would not have been able to answer that question. I'll talk about why and how that pertains to what we've built today and why I co-authored a book with Mr. Garrett Gunderson that you know so well, and probably many of your listeners. But yeah, I love my life today. I'm married 23 years, 21-year-old daughter, 17-year-old son, and we have themed the last year and a half as a family around adventurous activities. And that's been really fun. My son and I, a year ago, raced the famous Mint 400 south of Las Vegas, Nevada. Uh-huh. It was almost 400 miles. We were in this off-road race car that we had built. We were in it for 9.5 hours. We wore catheters, and and Ed, and for all the chiropractors listening, I am under regular chiropractic care. I started that preventative maintenance in 1999, and yes, I had proper gear and neck gear and all sorts of stuff going on, and we were safe. But this adventurous activity for us and our family has been incredible because I love influencing my kids' lives. I love influencing my clients' lives, especially around this topic of finance and money and banking. And Ed, it's funny, before the show started, we were talking about money and stuff, and the word that came up into my mind, and so often I talk to my clients about it, I've even written about it, is this concept of money, and it's this elusive obvious. Elusive obvious. And I tested at a major level where I was at in my own life with my belief system around money, and I sank below scarcity. Ed, I went all the way down into poverty, which was just a shitstorm of a life that I led the end of '07 into '08 and '09, to where the end of '07 I found myself having lost over $4 million in a bad investment. Yep, I have been so bold as to put this story and the emotions around it in our book, What Would the Rockefellers Do? And I hid from it for years, being this financial advisor. I'd been in the industry since 2000. So, I shamed myself. I told myself I should have known better. I got greedy, and I slowly succumbed to this financial mindset that's so prevalent out there today. And I love chiropractors. I have over almost 300 nationwide now of chiropractors that are clients and some of my best friends. And I relate it to like the spine being out of alignment, and how I was out of alignment in my own belief system around money and the risk that I took in big pharmacy compared to big financial institutions. So, and I'm getting to a point here, Ed, but financial institutions have an agenda, and I think it's imperative for our listeners, for your listeners, to understand, just like big pharma has an agenda and their marketing and their billions of dollars that they pour into their marketing, financial institutions have the same marketing budget, if not more, and they utilize it to meet their agenda. Now, that agenda does meet a need or a goal for clients when they're putting their money somewhere, but it meets the financial institution's agenda in a major way. We disclosed that. I lived it. I fell to it. I literally hid in 2008 and 2009 because of the shitstorm that I went through. Almost got divorced over it. Almost took my life over it. Thank God I didn't. Thank God I am been able to turn my life around, and it started with my belief system, and I slowly pulled myself out of this poverty mindset into a scarcity mindset. I started stabilizing abundance in 2011, 2012, and I've been able to start playing and creating in prosperity now as a result of stabilizing that abundance. And your listeners can do the exact same thing with the same or similar money decisions that they're making today when they understand what the agenda of a financial institution is and they apply it to their life. And it's exactly what the wealthy are doing with their money today.
Wow, that's
pretty...
So
I'm passionate about it, and that's who I am. I live this stuff. I teach it. I speak about it. I write about it, and it's what fulfills me.
Would you say that is one? I mean, you have a lot of clients who are chiropractors, obviously. I mean, you stated that. I mean, is that one of the things? Like, is it that simple? Is it our mindset that is really the major block we have to remove?
It's the single biggest aspect of it. And then once you have the mindset, it's understanding financial institutions' agenda and applying that to your own finances. But you've got to get your mindset around it. You've got to want this to be just as important as the care that you're giving to your patients.
Wow. I have to tell you, I mean, my wife and I did a program called Freedom Fast Track.
Yes.
With Garrett Gunderson's program. And I think back to when that was, and it was such a long time ago. But when I think back, it was probably 4 or 5 years, maybe more ago. And my wife and I were sitting down at dinner, and it was our date night, and we were talking about it. And we were like, that was one of the pivotal changes that took us from that mindset of scarcity to the mindset of abundance. And it was interesting as we kind of just went and we backtracked and distilled it down to really what was it, one of those key changes. And it was when our key change, one of the key changes was not the strategies that were employed or how to handle money better or pay off debt. It was when we changed our mindset of that we were actually able to, to have affluence in our life. it was pretty incredible to have that experience, to be able to go and look back to that. What would you say, in terms of with you? I mean, you've had some pretty incredible challenges when it came to money, but you've had some pretty incredible success when it comes to money as well. But what are you seeing in terms of like when chiropractors are coming to you? What is it that they're coming to you with? Most chiropractors, what is the biggest challenge other than mindset that they're coming to you with?
Yeah. Thanks for asking. There's a belief system about money and about care and health and wellness, and oftentimes those things are misaligned, meaning almost like they have to. It's like the starving artist analogy, where they feel like they have to give it away or not charge as much for it, and it's just the opposite. And Ed, you know this so well, that we must have skin in the game for us to really get the true value out of something. And so we come up with this principle that faith begins with self-interest. And it's okay to be a caregiver, a provider, healthcare provider, especially with chiropractic, being a doctor of chiropractic and providing that care for your patients, and get paid for it, and to get paid well for it. In fact, getting paid for it fulfills the doctor, you as an individual, more, and as a result, you'll have more of a drive and more resources to create at an even higher level than before in what you provide for your patients. So the self-interest around money and finance is great, because it allows someone, maybe for the first time in their industry of chiropractic, to acknowledge how big of a role money and finance plays in what they can actually deliver to their patients as they come into their practice.
When you're working with someone and they clearly need some guidance in terms of like how to get their finances straightened, where do you start? Like, is it, because like for me, it was like I had no understanding, even like these like debt ratios. I had no understanding of these types of things that were going on in my own, personally, or even in my business. But where do you often start with chiropractors or business people when they come to work with you?
Yeah. Number one, where am I? Where am I currently at? And we strip away all the BS, meaning where are you today with your money? Have you started tracking where your dollars go? That's one of the first things that if you're not doing this, you can go to Mint, M-I-N-T, mint.com. I use it personally at our house, not here at the office. We use QuickBooks here at the office. But at home, we use Mint, and we track it. We must track it to be able to control it. So when you know where you're at and you know where the money's going, then number two is, what do you want? It's that simple question of, what do I want? What do I actually want with my money? What is my plan? What kind of plan do I want? What am I going to do with my practice? A chiropractic's practice, as you all know or maybe haven't acknowledged, but I would encourage you to, is an incredible annuity stream of income, meaning at some time in the future, with associate docs or just an outright sell of the practice and the value that you build up there. And this is what I teach all of my clients, is that their business is their number one investment. And treat it as such. Treat it as an exit strategy. So number one, where am I? Number two, what do I want? Get just crystal clear about where you are and what you want.
Why was it so important that you write this book? I mean, you have a great business of your own. I'm sure that there has to be something, a why behind the book, the purpose behind the book that goes further, than just simply giving information.
Yeah. Yep. So in the first 10 pages of What Would the Rockefellers Do, I disclose my personal story about losing that money. And what I haven't told you that I do share in the book is that I found myself on the bathroom floor on a Tuesday morning, October of 2010, with my wife having left me with our two kids to figure out my shit. I was not healthy to be around. And in that moment on the bathroom floor with snot streaming out of my nose and blood, had a bloody nose, I was screaming, "Why, God, why?" And I had a rush come over my body. And in that moment, I knew exactly what my life's purpose was all about moving forward. Number one was to figure out myself and to get healthy again and get my family back, which I did. And number two, to extract the lessons from what I had experienced with my own finances and money and the effect of finances and money in my life and in other people's lives, and then teach them those life lessons that I had learned about relinquishing control of our cash and the effect on it in our lives versus maintaining control. And then I created a system. I created a system around that so people do not have to ever, ever, ever go through what I went through and have that effect on their lives around money and finance.
Wow, that's incredibly powerful, but it also resonates with me. I mean, I've built and lost a lot of like businesses and money, and and it always comes. I like how you talk about, you know, with chiropractors, it's all about flow. It's about alignment, and so nerve flow would be alignment, right?
Yeah.
Or nervous system flow, and I think it's almost it's exactly like you say. It's the same with cash flow. You must be in alignment with for the cash to flow into your life. And I know I can see that, you know, and I get this from you too, is that you're coming from that place of contribution and you truly want to help more chiropractors be successful. And that is really what our purpose is on the Philanthropist podcast as well. Doc, I'm so used to speaking to docs. Michael, I gotta ask you though, because it concerns me that I get on calls often with chiropractors and they're around that age of 45, 50 years of age. And you mentioned the word exit strategy and my ears just perked up. I'm like, they have absolutely no exit strategy and they're not prepared. And they're stressed out and anxious about that. What kind of guidance do you have for them?
Yeah, well, that stressed out and anxiety is real. It is very real. And that stress and anxiety has a major cost to them in their lives. And the cost is their lack of production because of their lack of focus. All that time and energy spent on that lack of focus and that anxiety and being stressed out, as we know, takes us away from our practice and our ability to create. So number one is to create a plan, you know, answer the questions. Where am I? What do I want? And I work with a lot of chiropractors that are in their 40s, late 40s, early 50s. And they have to accelerate things at a more rapid pace than the doc that's in his early 30s or mid 30s or early 40s, but it can be done. So get very clear. Start having that conversation about where am I and what do I want? And no BS, like exactly where am I? No lying. If we start lying about where we're at, then we create out of those lies. So crystal clear, where am I? What do I want? And to start putting together a plan. And that alone will empower a doc to much higher levels than ever before because of that peace of mind that they start feeling of knowing versus hoping. And they can leverage that to increase their production besides their quality life simultaneously.
I love it. And, you know, one of the things that I found was incredibly helpful too was the accountability aspect. That I personally, I'm not someone who can do this on my own. I always need to have someone coaching, mentoring me, telling me, how to do this better. I can specifically remember when I was working like in Freedom Fast Track and how our coach, we told him, we went out and financed a Lexus. And he was like furious with me. And I understandably so. We had set targets and goals. I wouldn't say he's furious, but he wasn't happy. But it was like, we'd set targets and goals, and clearly I had gone, definitely I was distracted from those goals, put it that way. So I love the accountability. And that brings me to the question, do you think people can do this on their own?
I think it's possible, but they don't. And so because of human nature and that doctors are experts in being a doctor of chiropractic. I go see my chiropractor and he comes and sees me for the financial aspect. It's the division of labor. And I want him to continue to excel as a chiropractor, and he wants me to continue to excel in the planning and what I provide for him. That's why we exchange with each other. So yeah, human nature is that we won't. We say we will, but we won't. And because of that, we rely on other experts to assist us with that. And accountability is a major part of it. And so much of my discussions, Ed, with clients is that when they just fill out that questionnaire and they get clear about where they are right now, that starts a major peace of mind process for them that starts to be leveraged in their life. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember filling out a form like that and just at the end just going, holy shit, I cannot believe how much liabilities and debt we have. Couldn't believe it. Or investments in the wrong place. Like just, they were probably costing me money. Like, really, it was just turned us like completely around when we started to get clear on that stuff. And I like how you say like got honest and told the truth about it. Because a lot of us we don't want to even look at it. We just put the blinders on and just like, I'm not going to think about it. And the next thing you know, like I'm 46. Like, I mean, the next thing you know, it comes up a lot faster than we expect.
But every one of your docs want to be successful in their practice and provide the highest level of chiropractic possible, correct?
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely. So if you want to, then get in line with your finances and feel that peace of mind and know versus hope and leverage that. And when you do that, you'll produce at an even higher level. And that's your self-interest, to get a plan, to get clear about where you are and what you want and put together a plan.
Yeah. You want to improve your life? Cash flow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Understand cash flow better. I mean, it's not everything, but it solves a lot of problems. It solves a lot of problems.
Yep.
So, I mean, you have an incredible gift. You know, you yourself and Garrett have an incredible gift for the listeners today. And so do you want to share a little bit about what that gift is? And then I'll make sure everyone knows how to actually access the gift.
Sure. Yeah. We're excited with our book. We just launched it a few months ago. It's called What Would the Rockefellers Do? We do have it on Amazon. It's $1,000. So you can go to Amazon and purchase it for $1,000 if you'd like.
Wow.
And I kind of joke and I'm smiling right now because we don't want to get it out there in the hands of other advisors yet. We're looking at some publishers. Of course, with Garrett's contacts, he's had publishers already contact him, and we're looking at ways to do that. So we're using it internally. We're just using it with our clients and with our referrals. And Ed, we love what you're up to. Garrett speaks highly of you. I've been following you for some time now. And so we're happy to give all of your listeners that would like it a free digital download of our book, What Would the Rockefellers Do? And we put everything in it. We're not holding anything out. You could take it and go implement. Of course, I'd love to work with you. That's my self-interest. I'd love to communicate with you, and we'll have that in there also. But you could take it and start implementing some stuff right now today. But that's our gift, is a free digital download of our book.
Wow. I didn't realize I have $1,000 bill in my hand right now as I talk to you. Awesome. I'm going to put it on eBay after I read it.
I love it.
No, it's an incredible gift. And so I'm going to make sure that everyone who definitely, again, wants access to the book has access. So right now, if you're listening, I want you to go ahead and actually open up those show notes. You're going to actually see a clickable link, or actually that text number, where you can text directly right now and get access to the book. You can also head to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com. We'll have a webpage dedicated to our discussion with Michael Isom as well. And we are going to have the clickable links for the resources, including mint.com, in those show notes as well. So you can actually find that number that you can text in the show notes. So please go there now. I gotta thank you so much for being on the TCP podcast today. Just an incredible, I truly, I'm not kidding. I love talking about money. It gets me really fired up. I love about, talking about how we can help support more chiropractors, not just in the present, but in the future, become more confident with how their, finances and in their business and how their life is going to appear. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, Ed. It was my pleasure.
So you've heard the struggles, you've heard the successes, and this episode is done. But there's still so much more to come and so much more to learn. Head on over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com and sign up for our newsletter, where you'll receive free practice building tips and strategies, including how to market your practice with your very own podcast and so much more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Chiropractic Philanthropist.